How many times have you been told that if you want to get promoted, you need to have more executive presence? But what is executive presence and how do you get more executive presence? In this video, that's exactly what I'm going to delve into, and I'm going to give you 4 practical ways in which you can increase your executive presence. Hi, I'm Vicky and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe and to comment and like the video. So, why am I going to talk about executive presence today? Well, that's because as I was growing in my career and I was having more and more ambitious desire to move up the corporate ladder, I kept hearing that, Vicky, in order for you to really step into a leadership position, you need to have more executive presence. And I kept thinking to myself, well, what is executive presence? How do I get more executive presence? Where do I learn executive presence? So the good news is that the key is in the phrase, and the word is presence. That is the word that we're going to hone in on, and the 4 ways in which you can increase your presence as a leader in the room when you are present in front of others. So that's what we're going to hone in on in this video. And the good news is that executive presence is a skill. It is something that you can absolutely grow into. It is a skill that you can acquire, just like confidence. There is a misconception that confidence is something that you're born with, or executive presence is just something that you have. No, that's not true. Executive presence, just like confidence, can be learned. So that's the wonderful news. So let's talk about what is executive presence. Executive presence, well, that is someone who commands the room, someone who remains calm when there is stress or anxiety in the room, someone who is heard, listened to when he or she speaks in the room. And so that is executive presence, and that is the value and the power that you can have. And when you create that personal brand of being someone who is heard, who is listened to, who is trusted, well, that's a much faster and better way for you to grow in your career and to step into your power and to step into a leadership role. So let's talk about the 4 ways that you can use and the things that you can do to grow and develop more executive presence. So it is a learned behavior, and it is going to enable you to command attention in the room. So what's the very first way that you could do this? Number 1, the very first thing that you need to pay attention to is how focused are you in any interaction when you're interacting with your colleagues. So when you're in a meeting, are you focused? Are you present? Are you paying attention? Are you doodling? Are you looking at your phone? Are you looking at your screen? If you notice, a lot of the executives in the room never write things down in their notepad. They're not typing away. They're not looking around. The true senior leaders will usually just sit, listen, focus, participate in the conversation, add an insight when an insight is needed, but most of the time, they tend to be the quietest people in the room, and they speak last because they know that what they have to say is going to be heard and listened to. So be that person in the room. Focus, pay attention, and add input and insight when you really have something unique and different to state. So that's the very first thing that I would tell you. The second thing is, how do you use your body language? So we tend to, a lot of times, especially as women, we tend to hunch when we sit, or, we tend to make ourselves smaller. If you're that person, make sure that you're sitting upright. Make sure that your shoulders are back, and make sure that you're conveying confidence when you're in the room. I know It can be so uncomfortable to be that person, but try practicing that even when you're just sitting on a video call or if you're in a room. Look at the difference that it makes when I'm sitting like this and I'm trying to make a point versus when I sit upright and I make my point. I look so much more confident. My shoulders are upright. I'm welcoming you with my body language. I'm conveying that, hey, I'm not gonna shy away from this conversation. I'm not gonna shy away from what I have to say. I have conviction in what I'm saying. And by doing that, you're just with your body language going to instill that much more confidence and power in what you have to say. So body language absolutely makes a difference. When you walk in the hallway at work, are you rushing or do you walk with confidence? Do you walk with ease? Do you convey that, like, I got this, right? Everything, all of those little micro moments and behaviors make a huge difference in your presence, in your executive presence, and how people perceive you. The third one is try to connect and not transact. So what do I mean by that? When you are connecting with people, you look them directly in the eye. It goes back to the very first point that I was making. You pay attention to what is being said with the person's body language, with the words that they're using. You are making a true connection versus having a transactional conversation. If you notice, a lot of the executive leaders and senior leaders in the organization, they will even set up coffee chats or open hours. Why do they do that? Well, that's because they really want to have those connections with the people around them. So make sure that you're the person who is creating true connections rather than just having transactional one-off conversations. One of the things that I love to do, especially as I come into a new situation or a new team member joins my team, I really try to get to know the person on their whole level, because I truly genuinely believe in people bringing their whole selves to work. So not only do I want to know what someone is working on, what their big projects are, what outcomes they're driving, I also want to know about their dogs, pets, kids, hobbies. What are the things that make them the unique and beautiful and wonderful selves? So make sure that you're creating connections and not just having transactional conversations. If you are in a meeting, when you speak, look around the room. Look people in the eye. Don't just stare at your notes or stare at your laptop or lean on the PowerPoint deck to guide your conversation. Have a discussion. That's what's going to set you apart. That's what's going to show that you're the master of what you know, you are the expert, and that you are having a conversation rather than reading off, different slides and bullet points on your slides. So make sure to make connections. That is so incredibly important, and that does give you that air of confidence and presence in the room. And the fourth thing that I will tell you is be still. Practice keeping your body still. If there is, commotion, or if there is stress in the room, or if there is anxiety in the room, be the person that is calm, that is present, and that is still. Because when you convey that air of calmness, that's when people are going to know that you are somebody that they can lean on, who doesn't just operate from emotion, but is going to use logic as well as common sense to arrive at the right conclusions, or to arrive at conclusions that are going to enable you to move the conversation or to move the projects or whatever is happening forward. Because if you're somebody who is fidgeting, who gets very nervous, who gets very anxious, you as a leader need to be the voice of reason and the voice of calm in the room. I've had so many examples of that in my career, when we could have gotten nervous or spiraled out of control. And when that happens, I try to zoom back and I try to step back. And I will even say to my team, I'll say, hey guys, let's just take a pause. Let's zoom out. Let's take a look at this situation or circumstance without the emotion that goes along with it. And let's think through what the right course of action might be by asking open-ended questions, by really trying to get more information so that we make smart, informed decisions. So these are the 4 tips that I can give you to create greater executive presence, because it really does make a difference in how people perceive you, how you present yourself. And when you come across as confident, calm, present, and you connect with people in the room, they're gonna know you're ready. You are ready to be a leader. I hope this helps. Please make sure to comment and like the video. And if you want more content like this, I'm more than happy to share about all of my experiences as an executive and as a leader and as somebody who has had to really go through several different layers within organizations to get to a leadership position. So make sure to comment and like, and have an amazingly lovely day. Bye.